Welcome to Life Ablaze. So today, the guys are going to be discussing the idea of limitations. So, I'm going to let them get to it. We are here. We welcome you. We are here today to discuss the idea of limitations. There are many different ideas on this particular topic in your physical reality. And we are here today to explore a few of them. First and foremost, the idea that there are certain physical limitations that you have in this physical reality. You are, of course, a singular body. This is not news to you. But what you have been presented in terms of the limitations of your own physical body are greatly diminished from what they actually are. You are, for instance, far more capable of healing yourselves than you believe yourselves to be. There is much programming that goes on within your society that is constantly bombarding you with the idea that you are limited. This idea is a manipulation of sorts. It is there, in essence, to sell you something in most cases. And part of this selling you something must be predicated upon the idea that you are without something. So, for instance, the idea of a pharmaceutical being something that you need to reach for whenever you are suffering from certain symptoms is one indication. This is the idea that your body cannot handle, that your body is too weak to begin to heal itself from these symptoms. This, of course, is not even beginning to explore the idea that most of the pharmaceuticals that you would find in your reality are not there to heal you at all, but simply to treat the symptoms. And so your body still heals itself. Now, there are many messages that you are constantly immersed in, that you are bombarded with, all of which are telling you in one way or another that you are limited and that you need something external in order to feel, if only for a glimpse, if only for a flash, for a brief moment, that you are limitless. And so, many of you will make such a purchase, feel that brief moment before you are again finding yourself succumbing to the never-ending stream of additional messages saying that you now need something else. Now, we begin with this particular idea because it is important to understand that there are many levels of limitations in your physical reality. This is one of them, which is to say, it is completely illusory. You are not limited in the ways that those who would market things to you are wanting you to believe. And so it is very important for you to begin to discern this, to know, to begin to ask the question, what am I being sold here? And in many cases it is fear, based on fear, and based on ideas of scarcity, of lack, of you, of course, feeling small and limited. And so, this is the first area. The second area we would like to discuss is the idea of your collective reality. Now, what do we mean by this? When we say collective reality, what we are referring to is the idea that all of you that are in this physical reality, on this planet, at this timing, in essence, from a non-physical perspective, chose to play this game, to be here according to certain rules. And we use this term loosely. These rules, in essence, are here to support you in the idea of playing the physical reality game. So, for instance, the idea of gravity would be a rule. It is here to support you, because if you had to intentionally hold everything down to the earth, you would be spending a lot more of your own personal energy just doing this and getting by than you would be exploring the soul journey, the experiences that you came here to actually have. And so, in the idea of the collective reality, the game you all chose to play together, the rules, the limitations of this are meant to create a structure for you to work within and to have the experience that you came here to have. Now, having explored this area, we would say this: the rules of the game, so to speak, are far fewer than you have been told. Far fewer than you would think. And they are actually more flexible than you believe them to be as well. In essence, it is as if you are playing a board game with someone who has played this game for a long time. And as you play the game, this individual begins to change some rules while you are playing, and is able to do this in a way that perhaps you don't quite take notice of. And so you begin to accept the new rules as part of the original set. This leads back to the first area that we were discussing, that there are things that have been put forth as real limitations for you, for your physical reality, that are manipulations, that are not inherently true. And so we invite you to begin to explore what these areas are, and to begin to bring your awareness into where the limitations are that give you the structure to have the experience that you want to have, and where they are there to sell something. Another example of a positive structure of limitation, we would say, for instance, your traffic system. There are certain guidelines, certain rules, certain limits to your speed, or when you can stop and when you can go, where you should drive and where you should not. Were it not for these limitations, things would get a little bit messy. And so, this is another simple example of where some of these collectively agreed upon limitations do serve you. Now, the third area we would like to discuss is the idea of your own personal limitations. And this is a topic that we find is most congruent with our overriding message of coming into greater alignment with your multidimensional self, with your higher mind. In the sense, your higher mind is unlimited. You have the ability to come into alignment with your higher mind and to know your limitlessness. What do we mean by this? What we mean is that the ideas, the beliefs that you have espoused about what you can or cannot do has been supported, has been rationalized, has been justified by many ideas that were based upon fear, that were based upon scarcity, lack, and manipulations. And so as you begin to lean into this understanding, you can begin to see, are your own limitations that you perceive when you begin to think of what you can or cannot do, do you feel fear in this? Do you become emotional? Do you defend your limitations when they are challenged? What is your emotional reaction when you contemplate a specific limitation for yourself? When you perceive another individual doing something that you would like to do, experiencing something that you would like to experience, or being the kind of person that you know you truly are. What are the limitations that you are giving voice to for yourself, for your reasons why you supposedly cannot also do your version of that thing? This is a very personal exploration, as each and every one of you will have different ideas of where you are personally limited and what you believe you can or cannot do. But we are here to tell you this. Most of the ideas in this particular area of our discussion, where you believe yourself to be limited, are simply not so. You are limitless in this area. You are limitless. And we will say it once more. You are limitless. Now, we say this specifically not so that you will begin to explore and test this idea for a simple, arbitrary test of one sort or another. There are many things that you see others able to do that are of no specific interest to you, but you feel that you may want to test your limitless nature and mimic that other thing. But that may not be relevant for you. And so, what we invite you to explore is where you feel a particular area is relevant for you, but you have come upon a belief that you are limited and unable to do this thing, to be this thing. And we invite you to begin to explore how you feel limited, why you believe you cannot do this thing, and to explore the idea of whether you can actually prove that you cannot do this thing. And we are not speaking of your past history, because there are many things that you do every day that you have not done before. And so if you are looking to support it with your past history, this is not what we are talking about. We are talking about the idea that many of you will decide that you cannot do a thing that you have never attempted, simply because of similar experiences or what you may feel But the unknown is an ally. The unknown is something that many of you may be fearful of and may feel limited because you don't know what may happen in a specific area, or if you were to venture forth towards a goal that you are wanting to experience. But all you will find in the unknown is more of you. And so if you believe yourself to be limited, but you decide to find out if that is actually so, and begin to move in the direction of your limitless nature, what you will find on the other side is greater harmony with your higher mind and your true, natural, limitless nature. And then the question will not be whether you are able or not to do or be this thing or another thing. The question will be is this relevant for me? And then it is simply a decision of moving towards what is exciting and what is relevant for you to begin to explore here and now. And that will change as you go along. But we invite you to explore these different areas of limitations and to understand each of these aspects as you begin to loosen up your definitions of your own limitation and to understand the deeper, more congruent truth of your multidimensional, limitless self. We thank you for this opportunity to speak with you today, and we will speak with you again. Until next time. Thank you so much.